This lesson is about rational exponents or radicals. So radicals, before we introduce the notation, let us first define what is an nth root. Okay, so we have the following conditions. N here is a positive integer greater than 1. So that means we don't want to get the negative root. There's no such thing as a negative root. Okay, so we're just looking for the third root, the fourth root, the fifth root. So it's always a positive integer. Okay, A and B are real numbers, meaning A and B can be negative. So it doesn't have to be positive. The N is just positive, but A and B can be any real number. Okay, now when we have this equation, that means if you solve b raised to n is equals to a, then we say that the nth root of b is a, or a is the nth root of b. Okay, now let us illustrate. Okay, so here we have 3 is a fourth root of 81. So why is that the case? Because 3 raised to 4 is 81. So 3 is a fourth root of 81. But negative 3 is also a fourth root of 81 because negative 3 raised to 4 is 81. So this is an example wherein you have two fourth root of 81. Okay? Similarly, let me give a simple example also that 2 and negative 2 are square root of 4, right? So why do I have 2 square root for 4? Because negative 2 squared is just the same as 2 squared, which is equals to 4. Hence, 2 and negative 2 are square root of 4. Okay, so take note, we are not using the radical sign here. I'm just trying to define what do we mean by a square root. Okay, but for this one here, negative 2 is the fifth root of 32. So there's only one fifth root. Why? Because if you get 2, 2 raised to 5 is positive 32. So positive 2 cannot be a fifth root of negative 32. So in this case, it's only negative 32. Okay? But when we go back to this one, if you look at this one, 2 again, 2 over 5 and negative 2 over 5 are square roots of 4 over 25. Why? Because both, I missed one, no, both negative 2 over 5 and positive 2 over 5 will give us 4 over 25 when we square them. Okay, so if we want to make a summary, if your number is positive, okay, and you're getting the even, did you notice that fourth root, square root? If your number is positive and you're getting the even root, there will always be one positive and one negative. Okay, but if your number is, oh sorry, if your number is negative, look at this one, it's negative, there will only be one root. Oh, so you might say, oh, because it's a fifth root. Let me give, um, because if you are raising to a even power, you would not get negative, right? So ito, like for example, negative 3 raised to 4, it will always be a positive. Okay? So what we want here is to clarify that there are more than one root for some problems. Okay. So why is this important that I'm stressing out that there are two roots for some problems? Because when we go to what we call the principal nth root, this is where we use the notation. So this notation means we're only considering the principal root. Okay, let me go back to the simple example. Uh, we know that 2 and negative 2 are square root of 4, right? From the definition earlier. Because 2 squared and negative 2 squared gives us 4. But when we talk about the principal square root, so which is this notation, this means the principal square root. So when you have this notation, it only asks for the principal square root. Okay? And for the principal square root, you only consider the positive root. So it's not 2 and negative 2. So the answer here is only the positive square root, not negative 2. Okay? So again, 2 and negative 2 are both square roots of 4. That means 2 squared and negative 2 squared will give you 4. But if we are using this notation, the radical sign, we are only considering the principal square root. So when the A is positive, this is what I was telling you earlier. Now, when A is positive and you have a positive, you're going to only get the positive nth root. Okay? When A is negative and n is odd. So take note, no? Because you cannot have a negative and even, no? So that's what I was telling you earlier. If the number A is negative, then n must be odd. So then the negative root of that would be negative. But you don't have to worry about this. It will only happen here. Okay, take a look at this one. 81. This is the fourth root of 81. So this is the principal. You have 3. But earlier, you can see that negative 3 is also a fourth root of 81. But when we're talking about principal, fourth root, we're only considering positive. But when the number is when the number is negative, look at this one. There will only be a negative root also. It's not possible for us to have a positive fifth root, no? It's always the negative root, no? It will always be a negative answer. And again, here, we are looking again the square root of 4 over 25, no? So since we are looking at a positive number here, we're only considering the positive square root. Only the positive root will be the principal square root. Okay, so let us identify this. What you call n is called the index. Of course, you have the radical sign, and A is called the radicand. So those are the terms. Okay, so this number inside the square, the root, this radical sign, this number here, A, is called the radicand. The number here, the small number here, is the index. And if you notice, when we have the square root, by default, there's no number. You don't have to put 2. No? So this is automatically square root when you don't have a number. Okay, so what are we going to do? If you input this in the calculator will always give you the principal root. Of course, no. If you input like this problems in the calculator, it will always give you the principal root. Now, how do we know if a radical is in simplest form? So these are the 4 rules that we have to check. Okay. No radicand has a factor or a power greater than the index. So this is a violation. Why? Because this is still greater than the index. So later I would simplify this. No? So you have to make sure that the exponents in your radicand are lower than the index. If it's higher, then it's not yet the simplest form. Okay. No power of the radicand and the index will have a common factor other than 1. So we can also write, okay, let me also introduce what we call the rational exponents. Okay, take note that these are rational, not expressions, exponents. So that means I can write this as a fraction, as a exponent in terms of fraction. So that's 5 over 3. So this is equal to 5 over 3. This one, I can also write this as rational exponent. So that's 4 the number in the index is in the denominator. So this index will be in the denominator. So actually, obviously here you can see that you can still simplify this, right? That's why it's not yet in the lowest form. So later on, I'm going to give you some ways to simplify this. Now, then you don't want a radical in the denominator. Okay, so this is not in the simplest form. Yeah, we have a radical in the denominator. No radical must appear. Or inside the radical, you don't want a fraction. Actually, these two are similar. No, so these two, if you simplify, we can do this. Okay, because of the exponential law of exponent, we can do this. And square root of 1 is 1. So these are equivalent, and you can see that in the description, both of them are not in the simplest form. So question now is, how do we simplify this? Okay, so this should be the first one, which is 3 and 5. Sorry. It should be the cube root of, okay. Now, there are two ways to explain this, right? When we're taking the radical, you're taking the cube root, okay? So that means, for example, let me just give you an arithmetic example. Let's say we're taking the square root of 32. So what do we mean by taking the square root of 32? So you can do prime factorization. That means you can do this. This is what you call a prime. You're using prime numbers and you're factoring this with a prime number. So you have to divide this by 2. And you keep on doing this until you end up with all prime numbers. Okay. So the one that you will be getting here are the factors. So that means 32 can be written as 2 raised to 5. Okay, so how do we solve this 2 raised to 5? Okay, so to solve for a square root, that means when you have a pair, you can write that outside the root. Okay, so let me expand this. 2, 2, 2. Okay, when you have a pair of a factor, a pair of 2, this is equivalent to 2. So, like square root of 2 times 2 is 2. Okay, right? Because that's the definition of square root. Okay, so if again I have another factor, a pair of 2, I can also simplify that as 2. So that this 2 times 2. But I still have a 2 here without a pair. So that means I can no longer bring it outside of the radical sign. I cannot simplify that. So the answer here would be 2 times 2, 4 square root of 2. So that's how you simplify that. But we don't have to worry much about this because your calculator will be able to simplify this for you. But the problem is what happens if you have variable, because you cannot do that using the calculator. So there are two options here. Either we follow this, so cube root, so you'll have here x to the 5. So I'll do multiples of 3, right? I can just separate this 5 copies into 3 copies and 2 copies. Now, if you notice this, cube root of x cubed can be simplified to x, while the remaining, we can not bring that outside. So this is the simplified form of that. Okay, so you have to just write them as as in threes, no? So you divide this into 3. Another option, I don't know if this will be more helpful, is to express that in fraction or rational exponents, no? And then what you do is you just divide 5 by 3. So when I have 5 and I divide that by 3, that's 1, and then there's a remainder 2. So that means I can bring out 1x of the radicand and I have a remainder 2. So I don't know if this explanation would be easier for you to do. So you express it in rational exponents and then you do this. No? So it's up to you which one is easier for you to follow. Okay. Then for this one, again, writing this in rational exponents is easier because you can clearly see that you can further simplify the exponent to 2/3. That's it. So if you look at other references, they would just explain. You can both sides, both index and exponent are divisible by 2. So you can divide this by 2, so you get 3 over 2. So it's the same, no? When I write this with the radical sign, this will be the index and this will be the exponent. So you get the same thing. So another explanation is just dividing this by the common factor, right? The common factor is 2. So when you divide this by 2, you get 3. When you divide this by 2, you get 2. Okay, or you can simply write it as fraction and just do a simplification of the fraction. Okay, now, how will you rationalize this type of problem? To rationalize, that means you have to be able to get rid of the radical sign. So this is square root, right? So if you have a square root, that means you have to have 2 factors. So that means if I have another 2 here, okay, this is multiplication of radical. Now, if you have another 2 here, then that will become square root of 4, and you would be able to you'd be able to express this without the radical sign. So that's the reason why I am multiplying by a square root of 2, so that I'll be able to have a number with an expression without the radical sign. So this is the simplified form of that. Okay, so let me give you another example that is not a square root. For example, if you have, let's say, how do you rationalize 2 over cube root of 4? Okay, so if you, let me just change this. Okay, so if you look at this one, you can factor, right? This is just the same as cube root of 2 times 2. Okay. So you already have 2 factors. And for us to be able to express that without the radical, I need 3 factors. So that means I need to multiply another factor of 2 so that this will become, I can simplify that as 2. No? Cube root of 8 is 2. And then in the numerator, it's okay to have the radical. Okay, so it will depend on the index, no, or on the factor, what you need so that you can be able to simplify that. Now, this is a little bit more challenging if you have this type of problem. So how do you simplify that? We're going to use the rule for special product. So you remember your special product. If you have the product of a sum and difference, you'll be able to square. So the goal is, this will only work for square root. Since we want to get rid of this square root, I'm going to multiply by the difference so that I can apply the special product. So that's what you do when you have 2 terms in the denominator, but it will only work for square root. No, for other root, you have to find a different way. But usually, these are common problems or square root. So in the denominator, when I take the square of 1, that's 1 squared minus cube root of 3 squared. I'm using the special product. So that means you'll end up with 1 minus the square root, and square will become 3. So 1 minus square root of 3 over -2. Okay, this will do. This answer will do. Or if you want to get rid of the negative in the denominator, again, you can multiply that in the numerator so you can have this. Okay, so they are equivalent. Okay. So those are the things that you need for radical.